Welcome back, everybody. This is power supply number 3. Now this one, I removed it from its cage and just put it up here, and I looked it over and it looked pretty unmessed with. I've already resoldered all of these connectors, and I replaced the small capacitors. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 small capacitors on this, and then there's 13 of these big ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Plus this one, but I don't worry about these caps. I did contact the owner of this and asked him if he wanted all of these replaced at an little extra charge, because I'd have to order 50 of them for all the power supplies. Anyway, what I'm doing is I wanted to delve a little deeper into this reset circuit. And I looked at the schematic, because I remember, if you recall, I stated that it must be a high reset, a low going high, because it is inverted on board. And it is inverted on board, but that is not... It's not inverted for the reset on board. It's inverted right here. You see where it comes in, power on reset? Yes, it does get inverted right there, you see. But it's inverted, and it is then the load signal for this. These two counters right here are the watchdog counter, basically, the reset counter. And then you'll see it comes over here, and it is on the clear pin as well of this guy, which is a latch for sounds, I believe. Yeah, sound latch. So if that's cleared, you're not going to get any sound. So if that's always a 0, you're never going to get the thump sound. You can see right there, this is for the thump sound. The doot, 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 doot. You know, Space Invaders. So this power on reset has to be low out of the power supply. And then it is inverted high as to never load these counters. These counters are cleared by a clear signal. And then this will always be high. You don't want to clear this, right? So, I was incorrect. This reset signal needs to be a high going low, and I've got my scope, the little scope, hooked up to the reset pin, and you'll see now this one works. This power supply worked out of the box. It just had some of these caps I had to clean underneath the caps because they were leaking a little bit of electrolytic material. So I replaced those, and I'd really like to replace all of these too, and I've got a message out, like I said, to the owner, and hopefully he opts to replace them all. But if you watch the scope, when I turn this on, you'll see this thing, it starts high and goes low. Okay? Watch closely. As I turn this on, you'll see this go high and then come back down low. Really quick. Okay, here we go. 1, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. See that? Now I'll turn it back off. Let me make this go up a little bit higher. Put it at a 1 volt. Now it'll come up higher. I'm going to turn it back on the count of 3, and just watch it. 1, 2, 3. See that? That is what it's supposed to do. So, turn it back off. And this one's loaded, and it works. This one works fine. All the voltages are good. So this was basically a non-repair, just kind of caps. But that tells me the reset circuit on some of these other ones that I've repaired, I have to revisit because they are not working correctly, because I remember they were high. Both of those, I believe, the reset don't work. This one works. This one's done. All I did was replace those caps and cleaned it up a little bit. And resoldered this connector, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to put this one in the cage, and then I'm going to revisit the other 2 reset circuits. And then remember, this one I had robbed that part out of. So let's get these 2 back on the bench for the reset circuit, and we need to see it go high to low. Okay, I have power supply number 1 hooked up. Now this is the one that I repaired that was all burned up, remember? Yeah, this is that one. Did I replace these caps? Or did... Boy, those are original caps. Those need to be replaced. What am I thinking? Come on. Come on. Alright, anyway, I've got this thing hooked up, and this is a false alarm because this one's working correctly. Watch, I'll turn it on and pay attention. Up and down. One more time. Turn it off. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Up and down. Okay. That one works, but man, those caps need to be replaced. I thought that they were. Those look like the original caps. Oh boy. Okay. Anyway, let's grab the next one and check it out. Okay, here is the next one. This is the first one that I looked at that just had the bad fuse. And this one has had those caps replaced. The little caps. The little caps are the ones that leak electrolytic the most. So they need the little ones, if any of them, the little ones need to be replaced. The smaller value caps are the ones that always leak electrolytic for whatever reason. So anyway, I've got this one hooked up, so let's see if this one acts like it should. Let's watch for high to low transition. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And yes, it does work. One more time. Off. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Yeah, okay, so that was a false alarm. They are working. They are working correctly. But that one right there, I need to replace the small caps in that one. So I'm going to take that one out of the cage, and I'm going to replace those small caps right now. Even if the owner decides not to have the other caps replaced. And normally a recap job is kind of standard, but this is a little bit above and beyond the scope of what I include in a repair like this. That's a lot of caps, and that's got to be an extra charge for all of these caps. So, but I do the little ones. The little ones are not a problem. I'll handle those no matter what. So I'll get those guys, and then I got to repair that one. So these 3 have good working reset circuits. Good to do. Good deal. So I'll grab that one and replace those little caps. Yeah, I forgot that these 2 had been replaced, but they actually put 16-volt caps back in. We're going to put better capacitors in there that are going to be in for the long haul. I'm going to put actually 50-volt caps in. So we'll replace all 6 of the small caps. Those 2, this one, and these 3. And then we'll wait on word from the owner. As soon as he gives word, if he does, I got to order 13 times 4, which is, oh, I don't want to think, guys. I'm not going to do that in my head. So let me get my phone. 13 times 4. It's around 50, I think. 13 times 4. 52. 52 caps. So I'll order like 60 of these. Yeah, so. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get these caps out of here. And I'll have to clean up because most certainly they've leaked a little bit onto the board. So I'll clean that up. And put it back in, and this one will be good to go pending these caps. Alright, yeah, I got these caps out of the board, and they are a touch on the leaky side. Just some crust, see that? This one's really crusty. Nice and crusty. And the Q-tips I used when I cleaned these boards get all nice and yellow on them. Gross. Yeah. And I'm going through and doing some cleaning on the back side, cleaning up the flux. Lacquer thinner, ancient Chinese secret. Alrighty, well, we are starting on the Space Invaders board sets. This one here is the 2-board stack. It looks like somebody has replaced all of these pots for the sounds. Okay. And this thing has, this looks like a normal game board / I/O board. And then the CPU board and the memory board are kind of integrated on this one. I like this better than the 3-board stack. This one has 4116 RAM on it. So you went to a dynamic RAM. I don't know if the 2107, those are static RAMs. These are dynamic, I believe. I know that the 4116s are dynamic. 2107, where it uses the 16 of those, I believe those are static RAM. Anyway, there's much more capacity on these 4116s, so they're able to totally eliminate another board down to 2 boards. And the ROM is integrated onto the CPU board and everything, so I like this. I really like this better, I think. I don't know how long Taito made this set. This is not the most common one. The 3-board stack is more common. So anyway, we will check this thing out. I'll put it on, see what it does. I think first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that there's no direct short from 5 volts to ground, because remember we had that blown fuse on that one power supply. So first thing I'll do is get the meter out and check between 5 volts and ground. Okay, I got my setup out. We're all hooked up and we're ready to go, so we'll go ahead and fire it up. I did test between 5 volts and ground and there is no short, so I'll go ahead and fire it up. Something sounds really strange down here. The monitor sounds weird. Why is it making that weird noise? Okay, my monitor is red. Remember it was red last time I used it with Gorf? I wonder if there's something with my setup. Let me look into that. That's kind of weird. Something ain't right. Alright, yeah, I got one of my broken Pac-Man boards out. And, yeah, the monitor, it's not the monitor. Colors look fine. You can see this one has issues where sprites just are not in the right spot. Maybe someday I'll get around to working on this Pac-Man board. I've got 1, 2 in the pink there, and these are all Pac-Man boards. Yeah. No shortage of Pac-Man boards. And to my surprise and delight, I forgot I have 2 Space Duel boards. Actually, I think there's only one left. I think I got rid of one. Space Duel and an Asteroids. Those are mine. I should fix those and sell them. Maybe I'll give a Pac-Man board away. Would you guys like to see some Pac-Man board repairs? And maybe I'll even give one of them away. Let me know in the comments below. Okay, I got this hooked back up. And yeah, it's just the color don't work. The game seems to be working, but the color doesn't work. It looks like it's black and white almost. It's a bit odd. It looks black and white. I wonder if I turn... No, this is supposed to be color. This is supposed to be color. Here's the color proms, right? And one of them's in backwards. Turn it off. This one's in backwards. Alright, let me, that's probably fried. Let me flop it around and see what happens. Okay, I flipped it around. Is it gonna matter? I think the color proms are dead. More than likely, it's not making a change. Okay, so I think that we need to get some new color proms for this. So I think what I'll do is just dig out one of the other board sets, pull the proms off of it, and pop them in here and see what happens. Yeah, I pulled out another one of the boards, grabbed the proms off of it, and at least we have some color now. Maybe I have them in the wrong spot. Let me swap them. Okay, I swapped them around and I still get just junk. Very interesting. So we have color issues with this one. I should try to play it and make sure the game plays through properly. Yeah, so swapping these didn't make a difference. Okay, Interesting. Well, I think what I want to do is I don't know. Where do I just trust that these are good on that other board and go ahead and start probing around on this board? I think that's what I'll do first. Is I'm going to swap these back because I think they were in the right spot the first time, and then just start kind of probing around on this board, probe the outputs and the addresses and everything, make sure everything looks okay, and then I might end up having to try to verify these and make sure that they're actually the proper files. So I think that's where I'll start. But this one, at least it's playing. I should make sure all the sounds are there and everything. I'll do that off camera maybe. And like I said, swap these back into the other spots and then just start probing around and make sure our addressing is toggling and our data bits are toggling and all that good stuff. Okay. These guys right here, I believe, are either, well, they might be 131s. Or they're 137s. What's it say on there? Fujitsu, Fairchild. Oh man, I don't know. anyway, if it's a 130, I got to find out what they are. They're either 131 or they're 137, 82S. 82S 137s I know have two enables, and it's pin 8 and pin 10 right here. And they're always grounded because you want it to be, that's enable, right? This one, if that is the case, this one's never enabled. So I'm going to look at the schematic really quick. I don't know if you saw that, but this one, pin 8 and pin 10 are never low. So that means this chip is never enabled. So I want to get the schematic and look at this circuit. We got sound issues. I'll do that again. I'll start that one more time. I faintly hear the thump in the background, but it's doing the siren sound over and over and over again. There's no shot sound. There's no invader hit sound. There's no crash sound when you get shot. Yeah, it's pretty messed up. Coin start. I want to see the flying saucer come out. There he is. I actually hit him. Yeah, this thing's pretty jacked up. It plays, but the colors are way off. And the soundboard is jacked up. Okay. I don't have a proper schematic for this, so I'll probably have to go print the whole schematic off. Yeah. Initially, what I really want to do is find out which bipolar ROMs these are, so that I can kind of... Let's get the color fixed first. Fix the color, and then we'll worry about the sound. Alright, after looking at the schematic for a little bit, I found out that there is a signal that comes from the game board called video and invert that goes to this chip right here on pin 1, which is a 04, and then that signal goes to, actually the signal goes to hold on a second. Yeah, the signal comes here from the video, from the game board, and it's low. And it's inverted high. And I believe the low comes straight to this guy. And then that same signal goes through this. That's what it is. It comes off the game board and comes right to here. And it comes right to here, to pin 1. And then it's inverted on pin 1. And the inverted output of that goes to this one. So that's why this one's high. And this is an 82S 137 equivalent. So when this one goes low from the signal on the other board, this one gets inverted through this inverter and goes high. Or when the signal goes high, this goes high, and then it gets inverted and it'll go low here and it'll activate this one for video invert. Now I don't know, I guess that just flips the colors when the video inverts. So I don't think that has anything, that's nothing. That don't have nothing to do with it. There's 3 color bits that come out of here on this pin, and this pin. Okay, those are the 3 color bits, RGB. And then they go to this chip right here, which here's the clear is never cleared, which is good, and here's the clock, good clock. And the 3 output bits of this are red, green, and blue, which are right. Here's the input, here's the output. That looks good. Here's an input and an output, an input and an output. So all of the color bits look good, and then they go back to the color board and they get they go through a series of an analog conversion, go through some resistors, some resistors and transistors, probably to drive it out to the monitor as a analog signal, along with the sync signal and all that good stuff. So I think, and I don't think there's anything on the game board that would, there's no, it just comes up to this corner up here and gets turned into an analog signal. Doesn't look like it goes through any transistors, just resistors up there, and then it goes out, looks like. That's not good. That chip right there has some rust on it. Probably I'll have to replace all of these 3900s. Those will all have to go. And yeah. And the caps will have to go. All of that good stuff. But since this looks like it works just fine, what I'm going to do is I am going to drop all of the software. I'm going to read all of these chips and make sure that these are good. These may not even be any good. I don't know. And then if they check out, then we got to look at the addressing to these and stuff like that, because this color is definitely not right. Definitely not good color. Okay, so I got this thing hooked up. Yeah, I got it hooked up correct. It was working, remember? Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. Let's do that. Let's just remove all of the software chips, get a software profile, make sure that's all actually Space Invaders, and if it's not, then I'm going to have to program a set anyway. Well, I'll check those too. Remember, those came off of the other. These ones originally were on this board. I pulled these off of, I pulled another board set out. So I don't even know if these are any good. Let's do that. I want to get software out of the way. Alright, yeah, I know I said that we'd fix the color first, but I went ahead and just kind of stripped this board out a little bit. I removed all of those amps, and I removed the 4006 and the caps. I tested the caps. They were all good, but they were all a little bit leaky. So now I'm going to clean this board up. I've got all of the solder removed from all of these. I got to solder some sockets into them. But I want to clean this board up. It's a little dirty. I'm kind of afraid to remove this chip. This is that shifter custom that shifts the invaders. I'm kind of afraid to remove that thing. It's got them rusty legs. I think I'm going to leave it right where it's at. But I do want to wash. This has got a lot of dirt and junk on it. And it's some pretty Kind of needs to be cleaned up where these pots were replaced. Anyway, yeah, that should fix this board completely. Unless there's logic issues. Which I don't think there are logic issues. But we'll find out. Alright. Well, I just went through every software set. There are 5 board sets. And since I got this all out, I wanted to just get all of the software out of the way. So that's what I did. And I wrote on these I put a little note, like, see that one says 534, that's set 5 ROM 34. Set 5, it's position 41, chip 41. I did that with all of these so I know that's set 4, set 3, set 2, and set 1 up here. And then over here I have, well, set 1 is over there. I washed that. That's set 1. And then I have set 2, 3, 4, and 5. One of these is a strict black and white set. I think it's this one. Set 4 is just black and white. There is no color proms on that one. So I'm going to go in the house now to ROM ident and just go through these and verify all of this software and make sure it's all good. I already suspect that some of them are bad because some of them were coming up non-matched to other sets, but that might not be a reliable. See, these should be the same sets, I would think. These 3 should be the same. This is a different set, and this is a different set. So I don't know. I'll go in and ROM ident everything and check it all out. Alright, fellas. I did all of the ROM checking with ROM ident, and this is how it shakes out. Set 1, which is this is set 1, 2, 3, 4, set 5. Set 1 seems to be Invaders Part 2 set. The bipolar ROMs are nothing. They're in no games in MAME. And A11 is bad. So this chip right here is nothing in MAME. Okay. Which is strange because it worked, right? That game was playing. That's weird. Alright, set 2 is SISV, which is Space Invaders SV in MAME. Yeah. Anyway, they're all okay. The bipolar ROMs are good for multiple games, but not for Invaders Part 2. There's a bunch of like bootleg games and stuff that they're good for, but they are not good. They don't come up as Invaders Part 2. But they do come up in MAME as a bunch of other stuff, which is strange. Okay. Alright, set 3. Set 3, there's 4 ROMs of set 3 that come up as Moonbase. This set right here. Which is weird because those are the same 1K ROMs that these are and these. So why is there so much more program? That's weird. But most of them are bad. There's only 4 of them are good. Only 4 of them are good, and I don't have any information. I don't see anything about the... well, it says the only ROMs that are in MAME, so the bipolar ROMs also are not in MAME. Right, set 4 is another SISV, and all the ROMs are okay. And it's black and white. There are no color proms with set 4. And now for set 5. Set 5 is SISV3, and they're all okay. And those bipolar ROMs are actually Invaders Part 2. So these are the only actual Invaders Part 2 bipolar ROMs of any of these. So that's interesting. And what else is interesting is this game worked. The first one that I was playing, it worked with a chip that is not in MAME. That's just strange to me. You know, very weird. Anyway, yeah. So what am I going to do? Well, this set right here needs to be wiped out for sure. I'm just going to I'm going to erase all of those chips, and I'm going to program a Invaders Part 2 set. And yeah, so we'll go with that. So set 2, all the ROMs are good. Set 3 needs to be wiped out. Set 4, all the ROMs are good. Set 5, they're all good. Set 1 seemed to have the one bad ROM. Weird. Okay. Anyway, that's how the ROMs shake out. A lot of bad bipolar ROMs. They don't seem to be anything. So I'm going to go ahead and repopulate that game board with sockets and chips. And then I got that set washed and cleaned really nicely. It was really filthy dirty. Plus there was a ton of flux on the back of that board where these pots had been replaced. And I cleaned it really good, so it's good and clean. Yeah. There you go. So I'll put that back together and we'll see where we're at. And I don't know if I should just go ahead and preemptively burn new bipolar ROMs. I don't know. Those are 137s, and I don't know how many more of those I have. I think I'm running a little bit. Yeah, I have this many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 of these things. I have 9, so I have enough. So I might have to buy some more of those. Try to source some more of those 137s. All right. Well, so that's it for the ROMs. Well, not quite yet, because I still have to get good, complete ROM sets for everything, so. Alright, yeah, a lot of these bipolar ROMs just don't come up as anything. They're just burned out, or I don't know. They're nothing, you know. They're not Space Invaders, let's put it that way. But, yeah, I don't know. Okay. I'm going to hold off on burning bipolar ROMs for now. Until that'll be like one of the last things that I do. Yeah, so alright, I've got all of set 3 cleaned up, ready for erasure. So I'll pop those in the eraser, and then we'll be ready to program some new ROMs. Okay, I've gotten through with doing my programming stuff. What I did with this set, remember this one came up, there were 4 of these ROMs came up as Moonbase, and then the rest of them were not in MAME. And these PROMs were with this second set. And these are actually Moonbase bipolar ROMs. So what I'm doing is I actually programmed a good set of Moonbase ROMs, and I will use these bipolar ROMs with this Moonbase set. Okay. This set of bipolars right here are actual Invaders Part 2 bipolar ROMs, so that's good. That set stays. I programmed the proper PV3, and remember when I was running this one, it said instead of the Taito logo up front, the T was missing. I remember that. If you look back on the video, you'll see the T is actually missing in the Taito logo up on the top of the screen. So maybe that'll fix that. But I programmed the proper PV032K ROM. Okay. And these bipolar ROMs are no good. One of them is just flat out bad, gives me the garbage. Remember, it was in the board backwards, so it's burned out. Then this one came up as nothing, and it's all rusted out. It just looks gross. So this one's no good. This bipolar set's no good. This bipolar set that is with this set come up to be nothing. It's not in MAME. I don't know what they are. It says PV06, but it's not PV06. They're unknown in MAME, so these are actually bad. Because PV06 is actually Invaders Part 2 bipolar ROMs, and PV07, and they're not in MAME, so these are no good. These ones right here are Moonbase. These right here are actually Invaders Part 2. So now these ROMs are all verified good. The sets are verified good. And I went ahead and I programmed 3 sets of Invaders Part 2 color proms. PV06 and PV07. So I got 3 good sets of color proms to take care of. And we can actually, one of these, I believe it was this set right here, did not have color proms. We can add color to this board set. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll just put that circuitry. It's like one chip, a 174 or whatever, plus the bipolars will actually add color to that board. So we'll go ahead and do that. And yeah, so there. Software is good to go. We're done with that. Now what I do need to do is I need to go back inside the house and plot out, because these are odd. The Moonbase ROMs were named ZE3-1.A5 for instance, right? So I just put the last 2 of the name A5, F5. I need to know what the actual offset is on these. So I'm going to go back in and MAME ROM ident these one more time to get the offsets of those ROMs, so I know where to put them in the board. Because right now I don't know where they go. So I just need the offset for each of these. So I'll do that, and so I know where to put them. And I'll finish this set up here. I still need to complete this set. I need to complete the soundboard. So we'll do that, and we'll be ready to fire this one up. Okay, I got it all put back together. Turn the volume down just a little bit. I played it once, and I'll show you. I got the caps done up here, recapped. Got all new LM3900s, and I replaced the 4006. We still have goofy colors like that. So that just tells me I've got to check the addressing to the color proms. I need to look at that circuit. So anyway, let's just play a game. I'll show you the sounds and everything. Sounds good. All the sounds are good. Coin and start. Okay. But it sounds good. So that's all good to go. But we got to figure out this color thing. So we'll flip this over and be probing on the other side. And I want to see the... I need to get the schematic out and follow the addressing to that color prom and find out what's going on. Yeah, here's the color prom board and everything. But what I had said before, this is the ROM that was not correct, and I erased it and reprogrammed it. And if you see up at the top now, it properly says Taito with a T. Before, that T was missing. So I think that has something to do with that, obviously. So, all right, let me get the schematic out and we'll find out what's going on with this. We have some kind of an addressing issue. What's going on here? All right, I'm going to move on for now. This one, the sounds are all good. It's just got this goofy color. It's not right. So I'm going to go ahead and just move along, because I can swap another game board onto here if need be for testing later on. Right now, I'm just going to move on to the next one that's completely dead. There's 5 board sets to get through. I don't want to get stuck on one too long. So this one, I'll put it aside. We got color problems. I'll get back to it. So stay tuned. I'm going to go ahead, upload this, and I'm going to move on to board set number 2 next. Alright guys, new video, new board. This is board set number 2. It's a 3-board stack. Every RAM on here has been removed and socketed, so there's a lot of work to go over there. I have to check all of that eventually. This one, I've got it all hooked up, and we'll power it on. This one's dead. It doesn't do anything. No video at all. No color, no nothing. So, kind of tells me that there's nothing going on, right? Alright, so let's, I don't know, let's start by just probing clock signals and stuff like that. Okay, right off the bat, I looked at this guy, which is this chip right here. And that's that Intel 3642 or whatever, which is Intel. I've got those D3245, and I got one of them. I got one left. That one's no good. That's on the board. Yeah, that one's no good. All of the outputs are just pegged straight high. Pins 10, 15, 7, and 2. Here's 10, 15, 7, and 2. And the clock pulses are on pins 3 and 6. Here's 3, here's 6. So it's getting its pulses, but this thing's not doing anything. That's this Intel chip right here, 3245. I'm going to have to try to source some more of those, hopefully. We'll see. 75365 is the Texas Instrument number. Alright, yeah, that's got to be replaced first. I need to wash this board, first and foremost. This board is pretty nasty, so I'm going to clean this board, replace this chip with this guy, and go from there. Basically, also I wanted to point out while I'm taking this out, I got this heating up. This is the RAM driver, basically. It sends the clocking signals to the RAM. That's what this chip is. So, yeah, and it's dead, so I'm removing it. And then I'm going to wash this board up really good because it is quite nasty. And then go from there. We'll see what we got. Okay, I got all the pins out of there. All of these have been socketed, and this has been, the socket's been replaced here. So I'm going to have to go with my meter and check all of the continuity and check for shorts on here, and I'm going to test all of these RAMs since they're, you know, since they've been removed. I'll test them all. And this game board, this looks like it was really burnt out of the board. The old one, really crispy. So, first things first, I'll wash these when I go in a little bit later. But for now, I want to pull all of these and just, you know what, I'll do that tomorrow. Let me just get everything cleaned up. I'm going to remove all the RAM. I'm going to remove this. I want to get these all cleaned up so that I can work on clean boards, probably starting tomorrow since it's getting a little bit late. But let me go ahead and wash these things up and get them ready to go. And just to point out, this probably is not critical, but I want to put the proper cap in. This obviously had a flamed out tantalum, and that's a 22 microfarad tantalum cap, and somebody put a 1 microfarad cap in place. It's just filtering the 12 volt line, but I don't know how critical that is, but I am going to replace that with a proper 22 microfarad cap. So yeah, I'll have to take my my beeper test and test all of these and check for shorts too. So that'll be fun. Okay, all RAM are tested. All RAM are good. This board has been checked for continuity and shorts. It is all good to go. So no problems there. I'm not going to wash those two boards because they're pretty clean. This one right here is nasty, so I am going to wash that one, and that's the last thing I'm going to do for the day. So I'll put the Inquisitor up. I'll wash this board, get it ready for tomorrow. And yeah, we'll be back then. All right. New clock driver chip installed. And I looked into sourcing this on eBay, and this is not a cheap chip. About the best I can find for this exact chip is about $15 for one, plus shipping. Alright. Okie doke. So there you go. We'll put it back together and see what we get. Alright, well, surprisingly, I've replaced this part and it's not outputting the bits that I'm expecting to see. But I want to see what this chip on number 26, I think it's an 83. That thing is fire hot, 26. That is all, you can't keep your finger on that, it's so hot. That chip is shorted bad. So that needs to be replaced. I want to see what that is on the schematic. That's IC26. Dang. Yeah, let's check that out. Yeah, this guy right here sends signals to another board. I don't know exactly what that's all about. It's an 83. And if we look at the outputs, which are pins 9, 6, 2, and 15, here's 9. Floating. 6, 2, and 15. So yeah, that chip is dead. And these ones look okay. 9, 6, 2, and 15. 9, 6, 2, and 15. Yeah, but this one's no good. So let's go ahead and replace that. We know that that's bad, and that might, I don't know, let's see. I want to know what these do. What are these signals? So yeah, let's check that out. Alright, as far as I can see, this is hard to read too. I don't know if this is 2Z or what right here. But here's the other ones, and it looks like they're just RAM address bits. Like I said, it's hard to read, but I'm taking it that those are the addressing to the RAM. So, yeah, we definitely go ahead and replace this 83, put a new one in there, and see what we get. Alright, well, I had forgot that the Intel version of this chip, there's a jumper here. And you have to switch the jumper over to the other side. Basically, you're on the Texas Instrument chip, it calls for 5 volts on 3 pins, and for this one it calls for ground on 3 pins. Well, I was messing around with this one, and I actually killed this chip when I was playing around off camera trying to mess around with this thing, and it got super hot. And what actually ended up happening is pin 10, which is one of the outputs, is now dead. So I had this extra board just laying around, just kicking around, kind of a parts board, and I pulled that chip off of it. And now it's pin 10 that's what it looks like. So this one works. I killed this one. I'll show you what it, turn it off and remove this. I freaking killed this chip. Turn it on and you'll see pin 10 is just floating, kind of doing that. It's supposed to look like that. But one of the outputs on this thing got killed. And it's getting super hot too. Yeah, darn it. Yeah, I killed this chip. So I had to resort to one that I had in another board. Yeah, there we go. That's better. That's an output. That's an output. There's 4 outputs. That's an output, and that's an output. So yeah, I killed this chip, darn it. But anyway, I think this is technically my last one, so well, oh well. And that's fixed, so that's actually working, but this is all that we get. So it is dead. And I did replace this chip, remember, and it now has proper looking outputs. So yeah. So I think the next thing I'll do is get my 8080 pod out, my flute pod, and go ahead and do some RAM and ROM checks on this thing. Well, that'll be next. Now that we've got everything working as far as clocking and stuff. Alright, so what I have done here is I read all of the ROMs, all of the ranges, and jotted down what the fluke told me. Then I went inside and I did some ROM ident work, and I matched up this ROM set. This is actually SISV set 4 in MAME, and this is the positions of the ROMs. 0 to 3FF is 36, 400 to 7FF is 35, and so forth. And they all checked out good. The ROMs are good, no problem. So I knew it was something specifically with the RAM. The ROM didn't have nothing to do with it. If I can read the ROM, I should be able to read the RAM through the decoding and all of that. as far as path back. Unless there's something goofy like a 153 just has a stuck bit that's only allowing you to read ROM, which I have seen, but I wanted to start with, first things first, swapping a whole bank. I took and swapped a whole bank of RAM. Here's the RAMs that were in the board. I swapped in a whole new bank. And one of those RAM chips is just flaky. I'm going to repeat. This is the video range. And I don't understand why the color is overlaying like that. It's doing that in the other one too. I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, yeah, these RAM, there's just one of these RAMs is no good. Even though it tested good. Even though they tested good, it's one of them's just not good. And I don't know which one it is, so I'll have to put them back in the board pretty much one at a time until this fluke starts freaking out again. Because it tests good in the Inquisitor, but obviously in circuit it's just not good. So I'll go through and probably use these two spots, and I'll swap two in at a time and then run a RAM test, and then I'll whittle it down from there, which one it is, which one's bad. So alright, let me figure out which one's not working. Alright, this is very strange. I put all of the original ones back in, and well, I tested them all, right? And they were all good. I think I need to test them all in this spot right here, because this is 1 0 on the low, or the odds. These are odd addresses, these are even addresses. This is the spot that was giving me fit. So I think what I want to do is just test each one of these in this spot. I don't know. This is weird, because it works fine with my RAM in there, but it gives me a 1-0 error when I use those RAM. I think it's this spot specifically. So, and I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. All right, now this one I put in here, and I remember I marked this one for some reason. I don't exactly remember, but I'm going to try it, and it's failing. So I'll try with the other RAMs in that spot. This might be the bad one. I forget what prompted me to put another mark on that one, but it was acting funny somehow. So I'm going to go ahead and try these other ones in that spot, and hopefully they're all good in that spot. But if they're all bad, then it's not the RAM. If it's all bad, then it's not the RAM. It's got to be the circuitry. It's that RAM. It's a good, bad RAM. Goodness gracious. So I will try to put all of these back in, because there might be another one that's flaky. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and test every one of these in this socket. This one I know works. So I'm going to put this one aside. I'm going to test each one of these, and if there's more of these that are flaky, I want to know. This, I've never had an error on this bank. So this bank, I'm sure, is good. But for whatever reason, this spot is very sensitive. I don't know. So I'll go ahead and test all of these remaining guys in here. Okay, I've run into another one. See, now it's going to work. This one's no good. This is a bad RAM. Yeah, this one was kicking this decoding error. I was getting that error too, so this one's also bad. I'm going to put an orange dot on that one as well. Alright, I just remembered something. These Texas Instruments parts are extremely sensitive to voltage. I checked my voltage on the 5-volt rail. I had 5.10, and on the -5 I had -5.25. I just turned this thing down to 4.75 on the 5-volt rail and -5 or -4.95 on the -5 rail, and now it works fine even with these RAMs in it. So these RAMs are good. They're just extremely voltage sensitive. Lower is better when it comes to these boards. You really need to watch. It needs to be no higher than -5.00 on the negative rail with these things. That I have noticed that before. I actually had to make changes in my setup for my Midway setup, Midway 8080 Space Invaders stuff, to where I'm actually powering the 5 volts off of the switcher and powering the, it's either vice versa flip-flop, I don't remember, or the 5 volts. One of them, -5 and 12 is that, and then 5 is that, or vice versa. I don't remember, but I separated the 5 and then the other voltages so that I can adjust them separately. But I hadn't done that on this, on the Taito setup, so I just had to turn the voltage way down, and now it works fine. It's just these Texas Instruments parts are extremely sensitive to voltage. See, now I can, I'm going to go ahead and do a long RAM test on the whole range. And we'll see if this works. I had to turn off the bad power supply trap on the fluke and everything, because I had to dip the 5 volts way down. So I'm going to go ahead and let this run through, and hopefully this passes. But yeah, this is why I was having problems with this. The RAM aren't actually bad, they're just extremely sensitive to voltage. Alright guys, weirdness. This is the board that came with the 2-board set. I've been pulling my hair out over this thing because I cannot find anything wrong with it. And you remember how it had the lines? I'll show you what I mean. But I pulled another one of the boards, and this one is the exact same board. It's got the same heat sink, same layout, same everything. So this is the same board as this. And this one works as it should. It's probably got sound problems, but that's okay. Colors are right. It's oriented right to where the top of the screen is over here. On this other board, the top of the screen is right here, and it's got these lines of color all over the place. These color lines. See, this is proper. Now I'll show you, I'll swap the boards. I'll put this board on, and I'll show you what I mean by how it looks. Okay, I put this board back on, and you'll see this is what it looks like. And it's such a simple little circuit that inverts this. Like, I'll show you if I do this. If I short that, look. It is now how it should be. There's a difference between these boards. This board has this jumper here. This board has this jumper going over to here. This one has a jumper here. This one doesn't. And this one has this jumper right here on this 04 with the leg cut out of the board, see? So I'm going to make this one look exactly like this one, and then see if that fixes it. See, I don't know. This one is made different for different pinout or something. I don't know. I don't really understand what's going on here. But I'm just going to make all of the jumps and mods on this one the same over here. All right, so I made the modifications. You see right here, you got that pin grounded, and up here I moved that was going over there. I moved it like it was on the other one, and I used a little bit of that green for right there as well on this board, and that fixed it. It's very strange how that was like that. Why was that like that? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, there you go. I guess we can play a game of this. This one's done. I've already fixed the sound and everything on this one, and now doing that fixed the video. How absolutely weird. Okay. Anyway, I'll go ahead and set the camera up and play a game. Oops. All right, here we go. Okay, coin. And, oh, I got the old Atari joystick. Get that thing hooked up and going. Getting ready to go. Okay. I don't know if you can hear the thump very well. It's prevalent. It's there. That sound was there too. I just need to turn it up. I don't know which one it is. it's super loud. Ah. That was fun. I know I kind of jumped all over the place in this video, and at one point I said I was going to stop and upload it, and I didn't. So I'll probably just try to cut that, edit that out where I said I'm just going to upload it. But if I don't, if you do hear me say, hey, you know, I'm going to stop this and upload this as another part, and then I just continued on, I just decided not to do that. So I'll try to cut it out though. But I am going to stop here and upload this because this is a complete board set. And I had to do the modifications. And I would have never known that if it weren't for this identical board right here. Very strange. So anyway, the owner did opt to replace all of the capacitors, all of the big 2200 microfarad capacitors in these power supplies. I got my transistors that I bought on eBay. I got those. And I got a big order of capacitors. There's like 60 2200 at 25 volt capacitors. High quality Nichicon capacitors. So these things will be good to go as far as caps. You'll never have to worry about caps again. So yeah, Alright, I'm going to go ahead and upload this one. Thanks guys for watching and supporting the channel. Check out my Patreon page. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed and like. And all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you all on the next one. I got a lot to do here yet. I got 4 more board sets and 4 power supplies to finish. So there's a lot to do yet. But this one is good to go. Done. Finished.